Hello, my name is Deborah Hernandez, and I'm one of the leaders here at the Student Affairs Department. Welcome to your role as a Student Affairs professional. This video is simply to provide you with some guidelines on managing a crisis on campus. One of the things that's really important to be aware of is the laws that apply to crisis management on campus. Two laws that are very important are HIPAA and FERPA. And I've written them down so that you can see their letters. And the reason I write these letters out boldly to you in these cards is because often when you read documentation on them, they're listed as HIPAA and FERPA. Now, FERPA is the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, and it basically affords students privacy when it pertains to their academic records. And HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, provides federal protection on their records when it pertains to health. These are important because they're about privacy. Our students' records are private, and the disclosure of this information may come through these laws if it is deemed necessary when it pertains to the safety of a student, or if there's risk involved with the student and their wellness. What's also important to know in terms of laws is the Clery Act. So the Clery Act is a consumer protection law, and it pertains to providing transparency about crime in situations that may have happened on campus with statistics and information so that everybody stays informed. This is important for you to know because the way you document the reporting of an incident is important because it goes back to the Clery Act and to how our campus security is informed and our campus police are informed. We want to remain informed. It keeps us all safe on campus. And it comes by way of Jeannie Clery, which is a really interesting situation to navigate a little bit. Title IX. This is a very important series of laws that cover a huge amount of topics on campus. Title IX, and I write this out so that you see the Roman numerals, because often when it's in documentation, it will have these. This is a federal civil rights law, and it basically protects everybody, students, faculty, staff, equally. We don't discriminate on campus, and therefore, if this is violated, it must be documented immediately to the Title IX coordinator or the deputy coordinator, which you will meet on campus in your training. So these laws are really important to be aware of because as you navigate the waters of crisis, they may come into play. What you should know is that when you show up to respond to a crisis, it comes from a place of being ethically sound and responsible. So we show up calm, we show up as neutral parties, we show up with a reassuring demeanor. We want students to feel supported at this time, and we want to sort of set aside any personal viewpoints. How we show up is hugely important so that students feel that they are supported and that they are provided with the resources they need to further get through this. Cross-functional teams are extremely important on campus, and they come into play because they provide opportunities for us to work with people outside the campus for extra support. This may be mental health care that might exist in a facility off campus. This also pertains to family contact and family reporting liaisons that may help support the student through crisis. This is really important for us as student affairs professionals because if we're assigned this task to contact or reach out to family, we want to recognize cultural norms and be sensitive to the way somebody's cultural background may address, a situation of crisis. Also, different forms of cross-functional teams might include the RA, having a conversation if the student is living in the dorms. Sometimes the RA can provide vital support and benefit, and the students confide in them. They are also responsible parties, so they should be reporting what they know to the proper authorities, and we should encourage them to do so. Another form of cross-functional teams is what we post on our social media. We have people assigned to these positions. They are responsible for working with our PR teams so that anything that is put into the social media platforms is truthful. It is important that we come from a place of truthfulness. And so you're being aware of what's going on social media, especially when it pertains to student affairs and crisis on campus, is essential. Being aware and staying informed. We advise that you get familiar with our student policy handbook and the code of conduct. This is listed, and from time to time there are updates or different things that are amended. So you being informed and aware is essential. Standing operating protocols for student affairs departments come in the form of how we report the crisis. We are responsible parties, therefore we are responsible to report immediately. Now, the crisis coordinator is typically the first person involved, and you might be assigned a task to do. But if a student comes to you on their own and is divulging information about a crisis, a crime, something that has gone on, you must document it, and you must inform them that you must turn this over to the authorities. When it comes to following up on campus with any crisis, it's important that we remain there for the students. Students need to know about resources that are available to them. Resources being implemented into place is really, really important and usually immediate with most crises as we can, because imitative behavior is something we want to avoid. And also, we want students to feel that they are continued to be supported through a crisis even weeks later. Students should know we have crisis counselors here on campus. They should know there are other resources available to them. They should know about our religious services and worship services, our meditation groups, and other resources that are available to them. We have printed brochures about a variety of services that are available. And so the more we stay connected and informed to the student in crisis, or the students that have experienced a crisis or are aware of it, the better they can navigate, and the more we avoid blame and liability. Our maintaining professionalism matters. When it comes to a crisis, we are neutral parties. We are empathetic listeners, and we are flexible. Your Christian worldview may come into play, knowing where you stand in your religious beliefs, and self-reflection is important at this time as well. Staying true to your cause, staying in your integrity as a person. Our students are important. We want them to navigate the waters of crisis efficiently and effectively and move on, get back to their studies, and thrive. After all, their point of being here as students is to figure out what their purpose is and to do good in the world. Thank you and good luck.